Sip, would you agree? We're both very pro. We wanted Creighton to win.
I just wanted the story.
We wanted the story. We wanted to hear like, hey, this will make a better story. They got players from the state. You know,
it's been a fun week.
Been a fun week. Could have been a lot of energy,
and they had a great chance to win and play
every TV would have been watching that game. How do you think the TVs are going to be for FAU San Diego State?
Not around here. They're not going to be
very high.
Not very high. I mean, no, it just went. It's like my Camaro ran out of gas.
Right. Yeah.
But and Jake cheered it on.
But I worked with Greg McDermott at Iowa State.
Sure.
Okay, so that was what year? What years?
2004, 5, and 6.
Okay. And you were the OC, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then my boys went to Ames High School with Doug, the NBA player, ex-Creighton player, and Nick, the older brother, and Jake just got married, my middle son, and Nick McDermott was in his wedding, in January. So we're close. I text Greg, after the game. Greg showed up at Jake's bachelor party at Big Fred's.
Is that right?
This summer when Jake had a bachelor party. So my boys are close with Greg and his two sons, and I stay in touch with Greg. And I mean, he's a hell of a guy, and he runs a hell of a program. And I was really pulling for him, but I'm pulling for a friend.
Sure.
But, it's good for Omaha. It's good for Nebraska. It still puts Nebraska on the map. Regardless if you're a Husker, a Blue Jay, or what's the other word, a jaysker or a Husker or whatever.
Agreed.
One thing I would say about Jake, there's a lot of people that agreed with Jake. Now that you got to acknowledge,
not alone.
Yeah,
it was not like me getting piled on by everybody.
No. I was amazed, in fact, by how many people said, I'm with Jake on this.
Yeah.
Well, there really is.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a rivalry.
It's like when I was at Iowa State. I mean, you're Iowa or you're Iowa State.
Absolutely.
I mean, here there's very few people. I know they say there's jayskers, but you're red or blue, and obviously there's more red because Nebraska is the state school and Creighton doesn't play football. I'd love to be the head football coach at Creighton. I'd come back for that. Yes. I was talking to Greg about that. We got to talk to your new AD about maybe
a football program.
Getting a football program. We'd play down there at TD Ameritrade. We'd have a heck of a deal.
I agree with that.
It's never been talked
Bill
about.
could be the
free.
Defensive coordinator.
Very available. Very.
Those brought
and I'd maybe do it for less. I probably wouldn't cost them that much to have me be the head coach.
You be the head coach.
I'd be the head. Bill could work for me.
Okay.
Plus I'm older. 10 years older than me.
Yeah, you got experience.
You got him.
Yeah.
Can I be the head coach in
and
waiting?
Then he could be the head coach in waiting.
If I could, please.
Head
I'd like
coach
to,
in waiting
like
in
to
about
apply
3
for
years.
that.
And then
I'd like to apply for that. Somehow Jamrock would try to weasel his way into that thing. Financially would try to get himself into that.
We'd make him the fundraiser. And listen, you can fundraise and you can keep 25%.
Yeah, then he'll be working tirelessly. For us who know Jeff, we would know that.
But we could plug Hogs at Jamrock's at Midland.
Midland doing a great
job. I went up
job
there and spent a couple of days with them last fall, and went and watched him play once, and they had a great year. They were 8-3, and he's running a heck of a program in there. So Midland's got good football up there.
Seems to be enjoying.
Barney, you did an outstanding job of holding the team together as the interim head coach. How were you able to do that?
Well, I got the call early in the morning, and Sean Eicher said, "Hey, can you be down here at 9:00?" And so we met and stuff like that. And I thought long and hard about what's my goal here? And my goal really was I wanted to make it the absolute best experience I could for the players. And I remember then we had a team meeting that day, and Sean Eichhorst and his crew were all there, and I was going to go in and meet with the team. And so I opened the door and start walking in. Well, here's Eichhorst and his crew going to walk in behind me.
This is 2014.
Into the meeting room at the stadium. And I turned around and put my hand up, and I said, no.
Talk to the hand.
Whoa. I said,
Bill does that to me all the time.
I know, but I did. I put my hand up, and I said, no, I got this. I go, you can trust me.
Whoa, good for you, Barney.
I got this. So we shut the door, and it was just me and those guys. And I think if you'll talk to a lot of the players, they probably will tell you it was as good as an experience as it could have been. I made sure that the practices were short and sweet and very intense. I mean, we would go from 12 to 14 periods. It was all, but it was absolutely full speed. And you were there. You were watching it.
Oh, I remember
it was high intensity, but it was short, and we were well prepared. We get beat, like 45, 42.
45, 42.
Great football game.
By USC. But our guys were great, And then I remember one other thing, and I don't know if anybody's seen this picture because I don't know if they ever put it out. Bo wasn't really big into team pictures, during training camp. So he said, we'll take it before the bowl game. So, of course, that year we didn't take one, before the season. So we never had a team picture. And then Bo was gone.
Yeah.
And I was the head coach. And so I looked at the old team pictures and I saw where the staff had been sitting. And so we got the whole team in the auditorium rather than the stadium. And so we took our team picture in the auditorium.
Okay.
And the photographer and people from the athletic department came in and said, hey, slide in. We're missing a seat right there. And I said, no.
Oh, interesting.
I said, no, we're not sliding in. That seat stays empty.
Wow, Barney.
I go,
that's Bo's spot.
There's one guy that should be sitting in that seat, and he's not here. So we are not sliding in. This team picture will have this empty seat.
That's never awesome. Heard that story. Awesome.
And I don't know if
never heard
picture
that story.
ever came out, but
that's amazing. Barney.
But I wasn't going to let somebody, sit in a seat that should have been for the guys whose team it really was. And I remember talking to the team that first time. I said, first of all, guys, let's honor God with our effort, and let's honor each other with our effort as we prepare and go play this bowl game, and let's honor Bo with our effort. And those were really the three things that I ended that meeting with that very first time I met with them. And then we take that, it's like when I was just thinking, how the planes fly over in the missing man formation or whatever, where they're missing one plane in that formation. Well, that's kind of what our picture was to me, that we would take a picture and Bo would be there by his absence in the picture.
Dang, Barney, that's incredible.
That's a great job.
Really cool.
I've never heard that story.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
I don't know if the picture ever came up because there was a real disconnect between, Sean Eichhorst and our staff and Harvey Perlman. There was a real disconnect. So I don't know if that team picture ever was out there or not. You'll have to look.
We have a guy. We have Keith Mann. We can find that.
See if there's.
I wonder if that
Keith Mann's listening right now. Keith, we need to see that picture.
Keith.
Oh, I'd like to know if that picture's out there.
Yeah,
myself and
Barney. It was in the auditorium.
Yeah,
with the missing man there, right in the.
That's
center.
an incredible story, Jake.
That's awesome.
We were so lucky, me and Barney, to both have a chance to coach with Bo. So
that staff was cohesive, and that game, that team was very well prepared, Barney, and it was a great game. And the practice leading up, you could tell Nebraska was ready. I was out there for a few of those practices, and it was very spirited. It didn't seem like a bad situation at all.
No, and that's why I thought it was really important that we practiced really hard, but we weren't going to keep them out there for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we weren't really, and you could do that probably just because, you use your bowl practices as kind of another spring ball and you prepare your younger players. Well, we weren't going to be there, obviously. So I wanted to make it so we could prepare for the bowl game, and get our guys ready, but make it short and sweet. But if you're going to make it short and sweet, you got to make it very intense. And we added like 5 or 6 plays to each period because we wanted to make it that fast. So we were really adding reps. We were getting a lot of reps in a shorter amount of time because we just went bang, 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 bang.
Kids probably like that too.
Well, they did. All of a sudden, we go out there and we stretch, and then you got 70 minutes or 65 minutes. We had 12, 13, and 14 period practices and 14 periods, 5-minute periods. That's the longest practice we had.
Yep. And it was gorgeous weather. I do remember that too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
San Diego.
That was a great game. And everyone, people know what to expect from Nebraska, and they've showed up like they should have
had a chance to win.
Had a great chance to win. Amir had a great game that game, 2014.
Oh, he did have a good game. Yeah, I mean, what was it? And we scored 40-some points.
42.
And but they were a really good team, and they had one of the best D linemen. He had 2 personal fouls against us, and I was talking to Tim. I said, I just keep getting after that guy because he's losing it. They had to take him out of the game because he got 2 personal fouls like in the second quarter. He was a top 10, 15 pick
Yeah,
D linemen.
For you, who that was?
They have Nelson Aguilar on that team, Jake.
I think he was the receiver on that
I
team.
think he was a return man receiver.
I don't recall that.
Still
What Barney
in the league,
did that was so incredible was, but people don't understand, is that when he's there and the staff's there when they're working, the new staff's also in the building.
Oh man, that was
So you remember that.
amazing.
So the new staff is in the building. So the new head coach, which was Mike Riley at the time, correct?
Yeah.
Those guys were all in the
That's right.
building.
Looking over.
And so it's as awkward could be. So I had to do the exact same thing at Wisconsin. We went to the bowl game, and there's a change over there.
It was bizarre.
And
I mean,
so-
we'd be down there in the Hawk, and the Hawk has that 3 or 4 row stadium seating back there.
That's
up
right.
on top of us, and there'd be.
Yep.
I'd look up there.
Oh.
We'd be doing O-line drills,
Yep.
and there'd be Kavanaugh up there looking at the O-line drills, and there'd be O'Reilly looking more at the skill players.
Awkward.
You know how hard that
That would
is?
be terrible.
And I'm thinking,
It was
you guys,
terrible.
I go, you guys, you could just watch the film,
Yeah.
or something like that. But
You don't have
it
to
was
be
up
here.
to them. I mean, it was their job, but it was interesting because a lot of times when you leave, you're done, But we were leaving with 9 wins, and so we weren't done playing.
That's really hard.
we
to
weren't
hear
done
that.
playing yet.
It's hard to hear that.
So this was way different than with Frank,
Right.
because we played that whole time and there was technically no head coach, and Bo was the interim coach then, but this one was different because they hired a staff.
That's
you
right.
know, that was there.
That's so weird.
Watch
That's
it.
so weird.
Yeah, we did this the same thing. Paul Chris was standing there watching practice as we're getting ready to play Auburn.
Yeah.
That. And
Just
that
terrible.
was it. It's a very, very,
Awkward.
very awkward situation.
Yeah.
So Barney handled that.
And some of the players, and even some of the players, they weren't very happy about it either.
I
Say,
imagine.
what the heck? Let us finish our job.
There's tension. I mean, that's
You don't
Let us
need to
finish
be
our
here right
job,
now.
and then we're all in for you guys. But right now, let us finish our job. But anyway, it worked out. Our players, I can't compliment them enough. And the other thing, I talked to the coaches too before them. I wrote each one of the coaches a letter and I put it on their desk about, think about all the reasons, why you started coaching, and let's go back to your roots and let's coach this game for all the right reasons and no negativity, nothing like that. Let's coach our players, think about why you started coaching and let's coach that way, for the next 28, 29 days.
perfect.
The lineman was Leonard Williams at USC.
Leonard
and
Williams.
It was Adoree Jackson was the returner / cornerback.
That's Robin Washit.
Robin Wash helping us.
Thank you,
Obviously.
Robin.
You're a personal computer over there.
Well, he
He
has
is.
to be. You know what?
He has to.
I had a little help there.
He has a lot.
Thanks to Robin.
He runs this place, Barney.